The agency was strongly criticized of covering up what happened in an official report for 5 years. The Drug Enforcement Administration misled the public, Congress and the Justice Department. ProPublica video has emerged of the shooting deaths of 4 Honduran civilians by U.S. drugs enforcement agents, an incident the U.S. authorities have for 5 years claimed took place after they were fired on. The killing of the civilians, 2 pregnant women, a man and a child, by agents from a special team of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency (D), took place in a joint Honduran operation that was part of the U.S.'s so-called war on drugs. The controversial policy dates back to the administration of Richard Nixon. For 5 years, U.S. authorities said the civilians who lost their lives, and others who were injured, were passengers on a boat it claimed had shot at the U.S. officers. But video obtained by ProPublica under a Freedom of Information request challenges the DES version of events. DEA says Hondurans opened fire during a drug raid. A video suggests otherwise. https://t.com/9tizzy81xpic.twitter.cuck1reuskve. ProPublica at ProPublica October 23, 2017. ProPublica said the resistance of the D to make clear that happened on the night of May 11, 2012 on Honduras' Mosquito Coast, had angered U.S. politicians. A bipartisan group of 4 senators asserted that the D and State Department repeatedly and knowingly misled members of Congress and congressional staff. Tim Risa, an aide to Senator Patrick Leahy, told the investigative news site the D convinced themselves of a false version of events due to arrogance, false assumptions, and ignorance. They rushed to judgment and then stuck to their story. Miss Honduras' sister found shot to death. The emergence of the video follows a scathing, 424-page report published in May by the Inspectors General of the Justice and State Departments, that concluded the D had misled the public, Congress and the Justice Department about the 2012 commando-style operation. At the time, the D said it had shut down the program, the Foreign Deployed Advisory Support Team. In the years since the shooting took place, media have pored over the details and spoken to some of the survivors. 6 months after the incident, one of the survivors, Hilda Lezama, 58, from the village of Awis near the Patuca River, told the BBC they were returning from a trip downriver with fishermen. "We traveled at night to avoid the heat. We heard the helicopters above us, but we couldn't see them," she said. "They could have let us dock and then searched the boat, but instead they shot us. Maybe they were thinking we were someone else. If we were criminals we could not complain, but we are innocent working people." Hilda Lezama was among several civilians seriously injured. The Americans said none of their agents opened fire. At the time, the U.S. ambassador in Honduras, Lisa Kubusk, said a preliminary investigation by the Honduran authorities suggested no wrongdoing. The raid was part of a anti-trafficking strategy codenamed Operation Anvil, aimed at intercepting illegal drugs flown into the sparsely populated Mosquitia region. It was believed that more than 80% of the cocaine entering the United States passes through Honduras. This has created huge opportunities for fortunes to be by those associated with the drugs trade, including corrupt officials and police officers, many of whom are easily bought off. It has also created a country in which violence and murder are commonplace per capita. Honduras is now second only to El Salvador for the number of killings outside of a war zone. A D spokesman said in a statement, "It's been 5 years since the events referenced in the report, and D has made significant and numerous changes, particularly with respect to the deployment of our former Foreign Advisory and Support Team, which no longer operates overseas and now contributes to our training mission. We agree with all of the Inspector General's recommendations, and are working to implement them." Ms. Lezama, who was shot and seriously injured by the U.S. agents, eventually recovered. Yet she told ProPublica she is still in intense pain. "I can't afford to support my daughters," she said. "We still don't know why this happened." More about D war on drugs. Honduras. ProPublica reuse content. We use cookies to enhance your visit to our site and to bring you advertisements that might interest you. Read our privacy and cookie policies to find out more.